Manithral here, and welcome to the OSRS weekly update video. Now this week we have the games room tables and fishing skill boss improvements, along with a little hotfix. So the first hotfix, and the only hotfix today, is at 1140. Players think that the cooldown of the heal spells should have only applied to heal group and not heal other. This has been resolved, so there is no longer a cooldown on heal other. With this hotfix, the tooltip will still state there is a cooldown when there isn't, but this will be changed within the next game update. So next week you'll see that this does not actually say that. So first up we have the MiniGame Madness. So this is along with the games room tables. So do you fancy a pint and a game of RuneLink? So they have added games room tables to some of the most popular pubs in Gillinor, as well as the Grand Exchange. So this means that both members and free-to-play adventurers alike can battle out in the board. So show off your tabletop tactics in the following locations. You have the Blue Moon in Varrock, the Rising Sun in Falador, Forrester's Arms in Sears Village, the Golden Field in Hosidius, and southwest of the Grand Exchange in Varrock. So they actually show you a little spot in the Grand Exchange in Varrock, which actually looks kind of cool. Of course you get to pick out the representing which side you want to go for. You have Ceradome and Zamorak. So of course these aren't actually Ceradome and Zamorak, so do keep that in mind. But talking to them will allow you to change your current world to the Castle Wars world designated 334 and put you in the lobby of your chosen side for the beginners. Friendly NPC Meredith is also hanging around the Grand Exchange, ready to teach you how to play any of the games on offer. So, board games are unavailable in Deadman mode and on PvP worlds. So, talking of games, Grandmasters Among Us might have spotted an error in the layout and display chessboard in the Varrock Palace. The board has been updated and now respects the actual rules of chess. And as for the fishing skill boss, the fire click box are now slightly bigger, covering more of the 2x2 space they occupy. The height of the fire will no longer change as it animates. The fire itself is now slightly less punishing and remove resources every 2 game cycles, 1.2 seconds, rather than every game cycle. The wave attack won't disrupt as many actions when it's incoming, so you could try and cook an extra fish or two. Pretty nice. Reducing Tempoross energy to 10% or lower will prevent it from attacking for a full 25 game cycles. That's actually quite substantial. If you don't continue to shoot fish within that time, it will begin to attack again. Beyond the encounter itself, you'll be pleased to know that the previously blocked fishing spots south of the ruins of Unka are now accessible. Also, both basic and recolored versions of the Heron will now use the placeholder slot in the back, so no need to worry there anymore. The heal group spell. So, it has been seen to generate a method of infinite healing for the cost of the spell and a few food items. So you could scale one cast to hundreds, if not thousands of hit points. If you combine this with multiple accounts spamming heal group with no cooldown, it could trivialize a lot of the content and reduce the need to bring or use healing supplies anywhere you could safely use this spell. While the spell is intended for healing, it was never envisioned to be this effective, and changes are required to limit the possibility of being abused further. As such, the heal group spell has been altered with the following changes. The spell now functions by dividing up 75% of the healer's health equally between up to 5 injured players in the immediate area, and throwing in an additional 5 points for healing. Once this spell has been cast, it will update your attack delay by 3 game cycles, similar to eating food. The heal group spell will now have a 90-second cooldown once cast. However, the other one, the heal other spell, does not have that. It is something to keep in mind. PvP World Rota has moved to Period A. The host for the high-risk PvP World is 343 Germany. Standard PvP World is 324 US West. Free-to-play PvP World is 417 US East. Members only LMS World 333 UK. Free-to-play LMS World is 469 US East. In other news, the Smithing XP gained from the Baronite has been increased from 10 to 30. Erahim staff can now autocast ancient spells again while wearing full Erahim and the Amulet of the Damned. In Last Man Standing, ancient spells are no longer grayed out for players who have not completed Desert Treasure. The spawn locations in the Wild Varrock Last Man Standing map have been spread out. No more pylons in the center. Combat XP in the player and house has now returned back to normal. They've tweaked an interface for choosing a display name so it's a little less confusing for newcomers. The audio can get a little busy when chopping tentacles from the fearsome Kraken. The chopping sound effects are now slightly more spaced out. The information interface provided at the start of the fishing trawler can now be toggled off or on by talking to Murphy on the boat of Orkazard. You can also switch it straight off just by clicking Do Not Show Me This Again on the interface itself. The collection log total value was showing a little higher than it should be, so it has been adjusted. A stray bit of wall has been deleted from the area west of Ice Mountain, and the maximum quantity of fish you can select for processing in Gamdoozle has been corrected. So that's actually it for this week's update, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later, guys.